Faithfulness to God is a choice to place God's will, plan, time above our own. It's just a decision that we make.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us once again on TBP, the Biblical Perspective. We're continuing through our study in the book of Exodus, and today we're looking at study 11 entitled Apostasy and Intercession. You're with myself, Colleen, and with Pedro. Before we go any further, I will start with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for blessing us with another day. Lord, thank you for blessing us with the ability and the opportunity to study your word. Please be with our viewers, and I pray, Lord, that they will gain a blessing from an understanding of this study. I ask these things in your precious and holy name. Amen. Pedro, today we're looking at apostasy, which is really interesting, bearing in mind that in our last study we saw the people saying, everything that you say we will do and we will be obedient. But we see a different picture looking at our study today. But I wanted to ask about, we're looking at the account of the golden calf. And I wanted to ask, what makes the experience of the golden calf such an important one to consider in terms of how we relate to God?
A multitude of things, but let's be selective. Read for me. Exodus 32 verse 1, please.
Okay, and please read along with us at home. I'm reading from the King James Version of the Bible. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
And we may ask ourselves, why on earth would they do such a thing?
Yeah.
After everything they had gone through with God, how is it that they even think like that?
Yeah, like why would you say make us gods?
Well, they just did.
Yeah.
Read for me. Exodus 20. 1 to 6, please.
Okay. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which has brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Ye shall have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
40 days before the experience of the golden calf that you just read in Exodus 32 verse 1, they heard these words that you just read
40 days
spoken just 40 days before. They heard these words spoken with God's own voice, telling them not to do the very thing that they went on to do.
Yeah.
So you would think it makes no sense that they're doing this now. Again, I say, well, they just did.
Yes.
And the question is, why? Read verse 2 of chapter 32 for me, please.
And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me.
You see, when they heard the voice, to explain that, for us to understand really, when they heard this voice from heaven telling them not to make any graven image and worship it, they were so shocked by the power and the experience of that they decided to delegate Moses to go and talk to God all by himself and then come back and tell them what God said, and they would be fine with this. But now what we observe here is they are actually doing the very thing they heard, and we ask the question, why? You see, in their minds, they had waited long enough.
Yeah.
Moses was up on that mountain now for 40 days. They had waited long enough for Moses to come back. He didn't come back, so they moved on. And they moved on with the very thing God said not to do, which they heard with their own ears, because God spoke with his own voice. You see, why? Very simple. People of then and now have this bad habit of putting God on a timer when he's doing, in their minds, his thing. Whatever that is, they've got a timer for him to do it. And if he is not on time, according to them, then there are issues. But again, why would they do such a thing? Why would they put God on the timer? The text that you read, everybody agreed, even bro Aaron, who is in charge of representing the presence and the authority of God among these people. You see, the question is about something very simple, but I want you to discover it. Read for me verses 3 and 4 of the same chapter, please.
And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
It is a question of faithfulness. That is what it is. A question of faithfulness. And faithfulness to God is a choice that we make to place God's will and time above our own will, time, and feelings about God. Very important. Faithfulness to God is a choice to place God's will, plan, time above our own. It's just a decision that we make. And in this case, this is demonstrable through both Aaron's and Israel's attitude in this experience of the golden calf story. Read for me verses 2, same chapter, 5 and 6 of Exodus 32, please.
Okay. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and your daughters, and bring them unto me. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow, and offered burnt offering, and brought peace offering. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play.
Look at how Aaron is acting this situation. Is it that he forgot that God exists? Is it that he forgot that everything that he had seen, heard, and participated in, even before the children of Israel were free from Egypt? he was in charge in the absence of Moses of maintaining law and order,
Yes, he
and
was.
more precisely representing God and his authority among these people. But look how he is acting. Is it because he had forgotten everything? No, he made a choice. Simply, he made a choice. Read for me verse 21 of chapter 32, please.
And Moses says unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them?
You see, Moses, when he came down, could not believe that Aaron did that, because he could not believe that Aaron would have forgotten everything. No. He could not believe. What did they do to you for you to do this?
For you to allow this to happen.
It's a choice question, and we need to get this into our minds when it comes to how we relate to God in terms of being faithful or not. It is a choice question. Read also Deuteronomy 9 verse 20, please.
And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him, and I prayed for Aaron also the same time.
You see, even God did not understand why Aaron would play the role he played in that story. Even God was, according to Moses,
Was angry.
He wanted to destroy Aaron. This must have been pretty bad. Moses is asking Aaron, what did these people do to you? And God is saying, how on earth this happened with Aaron? It is you asking, what is the importance of the golden calf experience for us to reflect on? We need to reflect on the fact that the golden calf experience or episode at Sinai must have been a very, very important one in the revelation of the people's mindset to their own selves as to how they wanted to relate to God. And all they showed was they're going to put God, regardless of what God had done in their lives, they're going to put him in a box that they would decide to open or close at their own leisure. They would put him on a timer. They would decide for him how long he has to do his thing. And the result of that is unfaithfulness, not because they could not be faithful, but because they chose not to. And we need to reflect on that and understand that this is what happens when we decide to worship other gods.
So Pedro, it's an issue of faithfulness or a lack of faithfulness, but also God's delay when God doesn't come through, or in a way that people want, or in a time that people want, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
So Pedro, let me ask you then, because these people had seen everything that God had done, like every way that God had led them, but yet they were still able, as soon as Moses was delayed, to decide that they wanted to worship like this golden calf. So how does idolatry seem such an easy and common and powerful tool in Satan's hands against God's people?
In having God's people falling into idolatry, that's the best way for Satan to achieve his goal in life. And the experience of Aaron is a primary one in the golden calf story. Read for me Exodus 32 verses 22 to 24, please.
And Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. For they said unto me, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And I said unto them, Whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it to me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf.
In the context of good and evil, idolatry is about self-protection.
Right.
And that is a concept that is powerfully used by God's enemy against God's people. Now, human being gets scared that if they leave it all in God's hands, they're not going to be able to make it. Therefore, they find ways to protect themselves against failing in that sense, according to what is in their minds. So they seek to protect themselves. That is in every human being, and the enemy, all he has to do is to suggest to you that you are about to fail, so that you can be in self-protection mode, and seek help elsewhere. That is idolatry. Read for me Jeremiah 44 verses 16 to 18, please.
As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever things goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink of offering unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes, in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drinks offering unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine.
This is self-explanatory. These people are saying, we go wanting when we serve God. We fail to have plenty when we serve God. Therefore, we need to find ways to always be provided with what we have. And if that means to go and worship other gods, that's what we're going to do to protect ourselves from lack of anything. You see, idolatry works well with what we are at the core of our beings, and that is self-centered. You see, when we do not allow God to do His work fully in us the way He intends to do it, then we cannot escape the reach of idolatry, regardless of what God has done in our lives before. Because all we're trying to do is to protect ourselves from failing according to the perception that we have that we've put it in God's hands, and that's what's going to happen to us now. This is how idolatry works.
Right. Yeah, it's about not really trusting God to work it out for you, isn't it, Pedro?
Yes.
So, in light of that, I just wanted to ask, so how do we actually protect ourselves from the danger of being victims of idolatry? And also to add as well, what are in modern times, what kind of things would you define as idolatry?
Well, as I have just explained, anything that is based on self-centeredness leads to idolatry. When you perceive that you are going to fail if you allow God to fully be in charge in your life, you're going to take measures to protect yourself. The century you live on makes no difference. This is human beings at the core. You with me? This is what happens. Now,
so how do we protect ourselves then from the dangers of being victims of this mentality and mindset?
Just one thing in 2 words: choosing God. Just one thing in 2 words. The protection is about one thing in 2 words: choosing God. This story is mainly about 2 camps represented by Aaron and Moses. Let's read chapter 32, Exodus, verses 7, 9, and 10, please.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Go get thee down, for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I might consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation.
By wanting, you remember Aaron said, I just threw everything in there and a golden calf came up.
Yeah.
By wanting to protect himself, and now you hear in this text how God is saying, I'm going to annihilate everybody. By wanting to protect himself, by being self-centered, Aaron exposed everyone except Moses to destruction and death. Of course, he doesn't realize that, but this is what he did because he wanted to protect himself. Now, read verses 11 to 14, please, of the same chapter.
And Moses besought the Lord his God, and said, Lord, why dost thou wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians seek and say, For mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel thy servants, to whom thou sowest thine own self, and said unto them, I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto thy seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people.
You see, by putting God first ahead of himself in this discussion, Moses prevented just what Aaron was promoting, the exposing everyone to death. You see, the protection against idolatry, which works against self-centeredness, is to put God first in everything, regardless of the matter at hand. And this is what Moses did just there. Read also verses 25 to 27, please.
And Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
So this is the same story. Moses has just on the mountain protected everyone by putting God ahead of himself, who says, let me destroy these people and I will make of you a great nation. And he says, no, because he is faithful to the task that God has given him, and he puts God first in terms of the realization of God's plan. Now you see here that he is calling on the death of people. Why is this? Is that a different story? No, it's the same story, but it works with the same principle. Moses did not decide to put these people to death by himself. God was in charge of that. So what he does is he allows God to do what he wants to do. Again, he puts God's plan and will first.
Yes.
But that results in the death of some people because God is in charge. If it means putting God first is the death of those who rebel against God, then Moses is going to allow just that. Read also verses 30 to 32, please.
And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, Ye have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto the Lord. Peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto the Lord and says, Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sins, and if not, blot them, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written.
So you see the same story, another side of it again, where Moses will go up and intercede on behalf of the people like he did before, even without knowing exactly what was going on before he went down. So you see, Moses at this time, the difference is he is protecting the repentant people on the basis of his knowledge of God's gracious character towards those who turn away from their sin. You see how the story develops, and Moses is faithful to what he knows about God and faithful to the role that God has given him and the people have given him, which is an intermediary between God and the people, an intercessor in this case. He is faithful, and that is protection against the devastating effect that idolatry works in the lives of people who are self-centered. That's how you protect yourself against idolatry.
Okay. So Pedro, there's a lot of information here and a lot of insight. So what should we take from this study? Like, what's really important relating to this issue of idolatry?
Our protection against idolatry is to put God first, no matter what. This is something that we need to understand, because idolatry is not just you bow down to this object and that object or anything else. Idolatry works with self-centeredness that can manifest itself in many more ways that I can list.
Yes.
So, protection against idolatry is to put God first in everything. And that is what Moses did. Another thing, read for me Exodus 32 verse 33, please.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book.
You see, Moses' faithfulness to God's expression of himself gave him the platform on which he stood to do what he wanted to do. In other words, we do not stand anywhere and everywhere when we want to be with God. We stand on the platform that he provides. And the platform that he provides is the knowledge and revelation of himself. Moses tapped into God's graciousness because God had revealed that graciousness unto him, and those who were under him benefited from it as well as himself. God said that he was merciful and faithful. Moses said, that is where I stand. Do that for me, please, because that's what you said. And it worked. Read again Deuteronomy 9 verse 20, please.
Okay. And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to destroy him, and I prayed for Aaron also the same time.
You see, God was wanting, willing, determined even, I guess, to destroy Aaron because what he did was so bad and terrible. But Moses again stood on that platform, pleaded for Aaron, and he was spared. And here is the graciousness of God. Aaron went on in life to become or to occupy the highest office any man then and now can occupy on this planet, which is being the high priest of the Most High.
Yes.
This
can
is
you imagine?
God's grace, because Moses stood on that platform that God had provided for him. Moses believed in God's grace, and it worked on his behalf and on behalf of everyone else who welcomed that graciousness from God. The last text I want you to read for me is the verse 35 of the same chapter, please.
And the Lord plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made.
You see, the people who died in this did not die because they worshipped the golden calf. The people who died in this did not die because they were sinners. The people who died in this died because they rejected by their own choice the grace that God provided even in that experience. Moses stood afar and said, all those who are for the Lord, be on my side. And what happened? Some people went, some people stayed, and others just continued as nothing was happening. They died not because they got involved. They died because they rejected that grace. You see, with God, you get what you choose, not necessarily what you deserve. They all deserved to die, but only did because some chose life over death because of God's grace. They all deserved to die, but those who chose grace got it instead of death. That is the message that Jesus Christ himself brought with him, and he still preached now to you and I.
Yes. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you so much. I've made so many notes. Thank you. That was an excellent study. And thank you very much for joining us. I pray and I hope that you were blessed as much as I was blessed. Please continue to follow as we continue through the book of Exodus. So please come again next week. Also, we have a live that takes place at 3 GMT every Saturday. So join us for that also. And don't forget to subscribe to The Biblical Perspective on YouTube. And thumbs up and like this video so that this video can go to a wider audience. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you.